Nag-ikot ako tapos yung asawa ko kasama si Mayor na palikasin yung mga tao. Meron mga sasakyan na pinadala si Mayor. May 6x, dalawang 6x at saka yung mga truck. Yun doon muna nag-focus dahil doon yung maraming tao, lalo na sa tabi ng dagat. Yung asawa ko na lang yung natira doon kasi hindi niya talaga may iwan yung bahay kasi hindi siya naniniwala. Sanay kasi siya sa mga bagyo.
Magsilbi rin po sanang babala ang pahayag nito sa ating mga LGU. Seryosong peligro po ang kinakaharap ng inyong mga nasasakupan. Gawin na po natin ang ating magagawa habang hindi pa lumalapag si Yolanda. Ulitin ko po, seryosong peligro ito.
Rescue team composed of my firemen and WASHAR team, the water rescue team. They were already out responding to a call during that morning. They were located 1.5 kilometers from the shoreline. They were hit by the water. I actually lost 3 firemen and 1 WASHAR team member. They were all heroes.
The local government units, who are the first responders, were victims themselves, were immobilized for the most part. And everything that they had, which could be mobilized, were also destroyed.
Typhoon Yolanda registered wind speeds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour and storm surges more than 4 meters high. Typhoon Yolanda's destructive impact was felt in 9 regions of the country, affecting a total of 591 municipalities and 57 cities. Yolanda took away lives and displaced communities. It destroyed government structures and crippled both small and large enterprises.
We came in as a team, and that was most important. And the team was composed of the Interior Secretary and the National Defense Secretary, who was the chair of the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council.
A state of national calamity was declared by the Philippine president. The national government mobilized the government machinery and partnered with the private sector and humanitarian organizations to deliver immediate relief to affected communities. The government placed the damage and loss from Typhoon Yolanda at $12.9 billion. In December 2013, within 7 weeks after the typhoon, the government released the Reconstruction Assistance on Yolanda, or RAY, an initial recovery plan that triggered the immediate approval of budget by Congress.
The recovery plan would have to come from PDNA, but we thought that there has to be other way of coping with this kind of disasters. That's why we talked with our development partners and said that we needed to go this way. We needed to come up with a plan right away.
In January, the government conducted the Post-Disaster Needs Assessment, or PDNA, to generate feedback from the field to help refine RAY. Under the leadership of the Office of Civil Defense, the PDNA mobilized nearly 100 government personnel to complete the assessment in April 2014. Recognizing that the scale of the disaster exceeded existing capacities, President Aquino established the Office of the Presidential Assistant for Rehabilitation and Recovery, or OPAR, on December 6, 2013. OPAR hit the ground running, coordinating the efforts of various national government agencies, local government units or LGUs, and civil society groups. OPAR exercises oversight to avoid duplicating efforts and ensure that assistance is consistent with local government's efforts on building back better.
We went down to the local government units, engaged them and helped capacitate them to prepare their own LGU rehabilitation and recovery plans. We just submitted the comprehensive rehabilitation and recovery plan last August 1. We created 5 clusters. These are livelihood, resettlement, social services, infrastructure, and support. Support cluster will address the cross-cutting policy issues and concerns.
The Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Plan placed the cost of rehabilitation and recovery at $3.91 billion to support local government recovery plans.
I realized that many people would want to help. The government is ready to help, and many organizations are ready to help. Before they can help, the LGU will have to be ready with the plan. That becomes the guide on the many help that will come along your way. That will be the basis.
The government has delineated danger zones to regulate occupation of these lands. Technical work to map hazards is underway to determine suitable lands for displaced families. Cities and municipalities' experience of the storm surge during Typhoon Yolanda called for adjustments on current policies, hazard maps, and identified safe areas or evacuation sites.
It's got to be tailor-fit to the LGU or our disaster preparedness, our building code, all of that. We kind of modify it from the national policies or national or republic acts.
As LGUs plan for recovery, communities are mobilized to participate in the process for a more sustainable recovery.
Nagko-community-based na kami. So we start educating the people na ito yung nangyari, ito na tayo ngayon, so ano ang gagawin natin para hindi na mangyari ulit to. So sila na ang magsasabi. Kasi ang community, sila man ang the first line of defense, sila man ang unang tinatamaan.
Transparency is also at the core of the implementation. OPAR has created Empathy, or the Electronic Monitoring Platform, Accountability and Transparency Hub for Yolanda, which serves as a tool to track the progress of rehabilitation activities, especially those funded by the private sector. A similar tool called Open Reconstruction provides status of recovery projects of the public sector. Typhoon Yolanda destroyed over 1 million homes, displacing 4.4 million people.
What we are doing together with the local government unit is helping them resettle because they cannot anymore build their houses again in these areas that are considered unsafe. And because of that, that means procuring land.
Tanawan, a coastal town severely hit by Yolanda, is among the first to implement permanent housing solutions, demonstrating partnership among government, civil society, and communities. Felisa and her family used to live in a coastal community within the area considered as a no-build zone. Her husband, Arnel, owned 3 boats, while she sold fish at the public wet market. But Typhoon Yolanda washed away their boats and destroyed their home, taking away everything they had. Having a new home is the couple's priority. They have thus been volunteering at the Gawad Kalinga site, rendering hours to help in the construction of homes for families who were previously living in areas now declared as no-build zones.
Salamat din kay Lord na nabuhay kami kasi siyam yung nawala sa pamilya namin. Doon ako kaya pumupos ako maging isang leader, maging isang volunteer.
Beneficiaries of Gawad Kalinga render sweat equity, helping in the construction of their neighbors' homes. Gawad Kalinga has donated the land to the local government and is mobilizing resources and volunteers for housing construction. National government agencies are providing site development services, while the local government of Tanawan identifies beneficiaries, secures permits and clearances, and monitors project implementation. Many stakeholders from the private sector, civil society, and government agencies have converged to set up mechanisms to provide livelihood support to affected communities. Many incorporate the Build Back Better principle into existing interventions. However, everyone recognizes that full recovery does not happen overnight.
The assessment in all of the Leyte Samar areas, which was the most hit economically, the businesses are at the 50 to 60% already back. The western side of the Visayas, which is the other part of the Yolanda affected areas, is even more up. I mean, I think by 80%.
So for our rice farmers, as early as December and January, with the help of FAO and Department of Agriculture and Oxfam, so we have given free rice seeds. So we were able to catch the planting season during that time, so farmers were able to plant immediately. As of March and April, they were harvesting already. We were trying to weigh out already the residents with the relief food. So there were production already coming from the barangay, so that's a good timing.
As implementation takes full swing, stakeholders recognize the importance of sustained coordination to bring more effective results and to strengthen the capacity of existing institutions on the ground.
Kung i-sustain yung magandang coordination, ang mga tao, yung mga gustong tumulong, ay alam nila kung saan sila pupunta. Para din man-manage yung resources nila.
Before, we used to be prepared for smaller calamities. But now, I think the process that we went through with Yolanda has proven that we need to rethink the way that we prepare. To scale up our policies, our laws, the way that we do things, it has shown that what we thought was sufficient before is not sufficient anymore.
The Yolanda recovery experience also highlights the global debate on how to define recovery. Many have expressed that response and recovery and development should be thought of as overlapping processes instead of defined, rigid steps. These terms and definitions affect every process of recovery. Less than a year after the typhoon, the devastation left by Yolanda still marks the region's landscape. Memories of the tragedy still bring residents to tears. Perhaps others have been overcome by their loss. Others have opted to move forward, utilizing whatever support they have received, or on their own, finding ways to get back on their feet.